ready to be sailing again, and so are we. So first things we've got to do though before we can sail is put the sails on. So we just got to reattach sails, lazy jacks, that kind of thing. And then we basically want to get prepped and provisioned for our first veterinary project. And also, while we're doing our first veterinary project, we are going to do some test sailing as well, just to make sure the rig looks even, and you know, sail on one side, make sure it gets slackens and tightens, the other side slackens, tightens, that kind of thing. Yeah, but we are really chuffed to be out on anchor. It feels good. Progress. This is Vet Tales, the story of the sailing veterinary clinic. Last episode, we replaced our standing rigging. Thanks to everyone who made that project possible. This episode, boat work continues, and we leave the marina to anchor in La Paz. Okay, this should be fine. So we're going to start by just checking battery fluid levels. Then we'll move on to the engine maintenance. It should probably be okay, but yeah. No! I made a little stick to help me know. It's really hard to tell just looking into a battery whether it's got enough fluid. So I've made this little stick that I can poke in, and then it like measures it. Full. I think I worked out why the little fancy battery covers we have are rubbing more. I think these used to face inwards, not outwards. So I might just switch these around so they come in instead. Okay, let's see if that makes a difference. I wonder if I should try and do it like that, and it really doesn't touch much. So we're just going to check the impeller. It hopefully won't need to be changed because it was done only a year ago, and they can last kind of 4 years. But you should check it, make sure there's no nicks in it, plastic's not starting to come apart, anything like that. That is a job that is infinitely easier doing it with the vacuum like that, otherwise there's just water freaking pouring everywhere. Alrighty, so basically just taking a look. The impeller looks good, no nicks in the blades, they look solid, so he should last a little while longer. And the seal looks good, so we'll just pop this back on. If I open this, it should come out a little faster. There's some chunks in there. Some big chunks in there. Pretty dirty. We'll change that too. Need to get this hand tight. Okay.
Try it again.
Engine's running well with new fuel filters. We did the oil filter in San Carlos, so that was not very long ago. And we checked the impeller. I'm going to check the alignment quickly, and we changed the oil for the gear oil as well. So yeah, very successful. Took us like 3 hours though somehow. We are currently cleaning the boat. It's our last day in the marina, and I guess it must, with the wind, it must just bring all the dirt, like we're surrounded by land, and it seems like no matter what way the wind blows, it just blows dust into the boat, and she's filthy, outside and inside. Jim's doing outside, I'm doing inside. I've wiped down ceilings, walls, cabinet tops, the whole boat. This is the last area. Well, the last area, and then I still want to do the countertops in the kitchen and bathroom with special disinfectant. Anyway, we're nearly there. The whole day's been a cleaning day. We've been cleaning all day. Everything is finished on the boat. Jim's just finishing cleaning up top. You're pretty close though, right? To finish cleaning up there?
Yeah, about 5 more minutes.
Cool. And in big news, we have new mattresses! Oh my gosh. Wow. It's kind of crazy. Our old ones were starting to get like really, really bad. Like Jim was sleeping in like a nook of defoamed mattress, and they just looked kind of disgusting also. So yeah, like stained, and like you can see how easy it is to squish the fabric. Anyway, excited. I'm not gonna say I'm excited to test them out, that sounds weird. I'm excited to sleep in them.
Yeah, my back is done with the old ones, so.
In the channel, leaving the marina. Went well getting out. Chuff's always a bit wily in this kind of wind, but she was good. We had some help, which was nice too. Basically, we're just going to head out to anchor here in La Paz. Then we've got some provisioning to do before we do our first veterinary project. But yeah, all the jobs are done. Woo! She's clean.
There's no sails on the boat.
There's no sails, but she's clean. She has rigging. She has mattresses. We are anchored in La Paz in our usual spot, which is by the beach on the kind of as far from the city as you get. We like anchoring here because it tends to be less people because it's a bit shallower, and also you have to go a bit further to get into town. It means there's always a spot because La Paz anchorage can get very busy. Yeah, so here we are. As you can see, there are boats like all around us, so it is a tricky spot to anchor. You really got to find a little hole in the boats. Yeah, so we're really excited to be back on anchor. Like, the marina was really nice. It's a great marina. Having hot showers was great. Having a laundry, was great. But all of our laundry is done. The boat has been cleaned. The rigging is done. New mattresses. Chuffed is ready to be sailing again, and so are we. So first things we've got to do though before we can sail is put the sails on. So we just got to reattach sails, lazy jacks, that kind of thing. And then we basically want to get prepped and provisioned for our first veterinary project. And also, while we're doing our first veterinary project, we are going to do some test sailing as well, just to make sure the rig looks even, and, you know, sail on one side, make sure it gets, you know, slackens and tightens, the other side slackens, tightens, that kind of thing. Yeah, but we are really chuffed to be out on anchor. It feels good. Progress. We are about to put the head sail on. We have our little lovely doohickey feeder thing here, which we've never used before, so that'll be fun. We've sprayed a little bit of the kind of sailcoat style stuff on the new furler, and yeah, get this sail up before the wind starts. Jim got it almost all the way without having to use the winch.
Sail is up. Chuffed is almost ready to go.
Hey? Oh, you're on camera. I'm just getting some medication together for Viserion. Viserion is a little pigeon I found. We went ashore to get the vaccines. Jim went and did groceries while I went and got the vaccines, and then also kind of sorted some stuff out. One of our phones was having problems connecting, anyway, things like that. An errand day, and I decided to save time, and instead of trying to get taxis, I was like, oh, I'll just walk between these two places. It'll only take 10 minutes. Then on the way, I saw a little bird flapping about, not going anywhere, and I was like, oh, what's wrong with him? So I had vaccines on one shoulder and a bag of other stuff on the other shoulder. Anyway, put it all down, and then proceeded to try to catch him. And try to catch birds even when they can't fly is really difficult. They run around the ground, and he was right near a busy road and cars, and so I ended up having to get under a car to get him. Much to the amusement, I'm sure, of everybody. I was in a dress, so it was a whole thing. Caught him, went to the nearest OXO, asked if it was can I have a box for this bird? They gave me a box, and then I proceeded to carry a box around to the rest of the stores, a grocery store, and into a Telcel to get our phone sorted out. So yeah, Viserion now lives with us. He has been, I'm guessing, attacked by a cat or a dog. He has a wound along one edge of his body, and yeah, he's really badly beat up. So we're going to give him a proper inspection now. I'm going to look at giving him some subcutaneous fluids to hydrate him, an anti-inflammatory to help with the pain. Then I'm going to give his wounds a clean and assess how bad they are, and then go from there. Okay, this is our little guy. So, as you can see, that's his one remaining tail feather. This wing's not so bad. I know, sweetheart. Doesn't look like there's any breaks on that side. This side, however, is where his wounds are. So that's an open wound there over his leg. The good news is birds have air sacs, so they have lungs like humans and mammals, but they also have air sacs, and some of the air sacs are fairly close to the skin. They also run through the bones, so when they break bones or have penetrating injuries, not only can their lungs be penetrated, but also their air sacs, and then they can fill with air under their skin, which I don't see any evidence of, which is good news. Assessing for a broken wing. Luckily, I've had a crazy amount of practice of doing this when I worked in the wildlife hospital in Australia, and I don't believe he's got any breaks, which is good. I think he's only got superficial injuries and bruising. Hey, sweetie, good boy. It's okay, little guy. Blowing on feathers is a really good way to get them to gently move. And then you can see any areas of blood. But other than that one injury, he looks pretty good. So I would suspect something pounced on him, ripped out all of his little feathers and caused this injury. So just gonna give it a little clean. Hey buddy, sorry mate. Just to try to assess how bad it is. Can I extend your little head? I know, sweetheart. Oh, he's got one here too. So that is close to his... Okay, that's okay. That's a bit close to his crop, so which is where they store food when they eat birds. So I just wanted to check that didn't go into it. Sorry, buddy. Okay, that one also doesn't go into it anywhere it shouldn't. I know, sweetheart. Just check here. Oh, it's very close. Look, you can see his air sac there.
Yeah.
That's his muscular like crop, like just under the surface there before you could actually see a seed sitting in it. So he's been very lucky, but we probably gonna wanna close that. I know, little guy, I'm sorry. I know, buddy, I just need to check your neck a bit better. Open his little mouth. Medicine. Yeah. Just under his little skin here, he's going to have a nice little pocket here for me to fill with water. Like so. Good man. And then over the next kind of half an hour or so, his body will absorb that water and help hydrate him. I've put a bunch of seed in here with him, which looks like he might have eaten a little bit because he's done a poo that's got seed in it. And then we need to try and make a decision for the little guy, medical decision, on whether to stitch these. I think I'm gonna have to. Good guy. I think I'm gonna need to put a stitch here. So probably what we're gonna have to do. Good little guy. You hop back in there. Look, there's some food. Yeah, there's some food. Pigeons this size are difficult to anesthetize because they need to go under only gas anesthetic, which we obviously don't have on the boat, and can be sometimes a little hard to find vets that have gas anesthetic that are willing to go with birds. So the other option is to use some local anesthetic because he only is going to need one single suture, which I think I can do without disturbing him very much. You saw how calm he was for his injection. Essentially the suture would be very much the same thing, just one little needle in and out. It's really just to get that skin opposed so it heals a little faster. So maybe we see how he tolerates local anesthetic, and if he seems very distressed, we'll see if we can find a vet that might let us put a stitch in him somewhere tomorrow. It can be hard with pigeons too. Not everybody wants to save a little Pidgey, so yeah. Let him have a little break for a second, then I'll put a stitch in. Okay. Okay, so we've done one little stitch here to close that one, and then you can see the stitch in there to close that one. So hopefully, sorry, little guy, that's enough to keep them closed. And basically just want to give him a couple days rest and anti-inflammatories and then see if he can fly. Got to test fly him. But once he can fly, he can go, even if he doesn't have all of his feathers. As long as he can get himself up into a tree, like even if he's not flying perfectly well, if he can get himself up into a little tree and get himself down to feed and up into a little tree, down to feed, up into a little tree, that's all he needs. So we'll see. I said to Jim earlier that I was going to whisper Dracarys, like in the background of a video, to see if people would get his name. But I feel silly. Early the next morning, I opened the box to see if Viserion survived the night, and he actually self-released. In other words, promptly flew out of the hatch and away. Good news for him, bad news for the film crew, but hopefully he makes it out there. Next episode, we take Chuff for a little outing to Pichalinge to continue our veterinary projects in the area. Thank you to everybody who makes our projects possible. You can become a patron for lots of extras like live updates and early access to ad-free videos. Until next episode, stay chuffed, everybody.